All right, everyone, welcome and thank you very much for joining us for another AEF podcast. I am your co-host, Rob Star.
And I am Frankie D, the Holy Grail.
Holy Grail himself. Welcome back. We're so glad you can join us today and have another listen to the both of us talk today about new stuff upcoming with Almost Elite Films, going forward with future productions, current productions in the works, and along with both what myself and Frankie D have been working on since we last spoke with you guys.
And there's been a lot.
Yeah, there has actually been quite a bit. A lot of exciting stuff. I guess to do catch up from when we did the last one. Did you want to kind of take it away with the stuff you've been doing recently?
Yeah, I could say that. Before we get into that, I want to bring up remember the watches?
Oh yes, for sure, definitely do it.
Because it's Black Friday this Friday. Atypical Man will be having a sale, 50% off. They didn't pay me to say this, but I love their watches so much that whenever I'm into a product, hey, let's advertise it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So hit up, you can check them out online. I don't know what the website is, but their Instagram is The Atypical Man. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you can get their website through their bio.
Yeah, the products I've seen so far, at least on their Instagram, has been really, really nice. A lot of crisp quality stuff. Yeah. I think you even said when you first mentioned it that I was really interested in some like the bracelets. And
there's necklaces, and it's not like a large selection. You know, when there's so much selection, you're like, I don't know which one to pick.
Right.
It's simple, straightforward. They even have a package, whereas if you want to watch a bracelet and a necklace, they combined it all together so you can get a package deal that way. Mm-hmm. So great stuff there. I highly suggest checking them out. When I got the watch, I wore it everywhere. Looks good in the suit, and it looks good when I'm picking up broccoli at the grocery store.
Yeah, I like the look. I'm actually kind of intrigued too, especially with the Black Friday. So I feel like it would be a nice kind of chance to take advantage of some of the offers they have, because they do have quality products to offer people.
Yeah, and it's in Ontario, which is even better.
Yeah, supporting local business never hurts. That's awesome though. Congratulations to them, and yeah, that'd be really cool to see.
Right. So I don't even know where to begin because I've been doing so many things.
Well, we can just kind of do some recaps and I guess on some minor stuff. Let's see. We can go around the circumference of the world of media. The soccer team Benfica still sucks. That's for all my Portuguese friends who are big fans of Benfica. They just have not been doing good in the Champions League. So there's that. Hockey fans on Leaf Nation are probably bittersweet about the team's success recently, but they have a new coach, so we'll see. Hopefully, optimistically.
There's also a little bit of talks with St. Louis. Apparently with some trades.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't go down. But, yeah. I mean, if it helps the team, I'm always for it, because I do bleed blue. What else? The NFL is looking pretty good. Tom Brady and those Patriots are still rolling on, but I think probably one of the greater stories is Lamar Jackson. That kid with the Baltimore Ravens looks unstoppable. He's like Michael Vick 2.0, but looks like he can be better. He's just a crazy athlete kid running the football nonstop. For anyone who's interested in football, that kind of stuff. Right.
Well, the XFL still
XFL,
hasn't done much yet.
Does that not start next year? Because I think it starts next year. They have 8 teams, right, listed for the XFL, the additional stuff, so that'd be kind of cool. Let's see how Vinnie Mac handles that.
There has been no new news on that, but we'll see what happens.
God, XFL. And basketball's rolling on. The Lakers are unstoppable. They've won 8 straight last time I checked. The last time they lost was against the Raptors, so take that. But yeah, NBA's been kind of fun to watch recently. A lot of the duos that have been with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard with the Clippers, that team's now starting to finally look good, because now Paul George has finally come back from injury. Mm-hmm. So finally get to see that team their full potential. Although the Warriors are completely awful, they have a bunch of no-names and Draymond Green running the team because everyone's injured, so that's unfortunate there.
Right.
C'est la vie, that is the world of sports. Guys get injured, and you just have to hope for a safe recovery for a lot of those teams. That's the sports world. I could get into baseball. Congratulations to definitely the World Series champs there. I can't believe the Houston Astros. They almost had that series, but what are you going to do? I really thought, and then all the scandals came out.
Right.
But, that's a story for another time with the Houston Astros. At least Washington winning their first ever. And some people probably up here, especially Montreal and Canada, because that used to be the Expos, are probably like, "Yay! They should have won. They should have won or wore the Expos uniforms for the World Series." Which they did do a throwback this season. I forgot who they played against the Washington Nationals, but they had a throwback series where they did wear
the colors of the Expos.
They wore the Expo uniforms.
Wow!
Yeah, they just did a throwback. And they looked really cool. Actually, really nice to see.
I got to see that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. It was like Max Scherzer was pitching in the Expos jersey, and it looked awesome. But yeah, that's the sports world. The sports entertainment world is on fire now, because last time we talked, we were just hyping up and anticipating with the whole AEW going head to head with NXT there on Wednesday nights, and now we're like 7 weeks in to the whole Wednesday Night Wars and all that stuff. So that's been kind of cool to watch. Really exciting. I know you've been kind of occupied, so
I've been keeping up through like just reading results and all that stuff.
Same.
I managed to even though I PVR'd War Games, I didn't get to see that yet, but I did see Survivor Series, because as soon as we got home from the film shoot on Sunday, I just clicked it.
Believe it or not, I was the opposite. Normally, it's terrible for me to say, I don't ever, not that I say I don't ever watch the takeover, I tune into a takeover, but this was one of those takeovers for NXT like that I actually watched from beginning to end on the Saturday. I did watch the pay-per-view. In the Survivor Series, I got bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, so normally I watch all of the takeovers every Saturday, but this Saturday I was working. Mm-hmm. It was stupid. Oh, the last game in Tower.
Yeah.
That team was not listening to me one bit. But they lost.
Last game, I do remember that. But yeah, that's been some exciting stuff watching, especially in wrestling world. I think if anyone who's intrigued to maybe check it out for wrestling, if you have cable or if you have access to any type of streaming services, to maybe just check out, because I mean, what they're doing on NXT, what they're doing on AEW on Wednesdays, going head to head is really fun to watch. It's intriguing, and we've said it before. At least the Holy Grail, you said it yourself. The fans win most of all, right? It's been really fun.
Well, even with NWA, with their power on YouTube, that's a. It's not as high up as like NXT or AEW Dynamite.
Well,
but it's a good like if you're looking for something that's a throwback, but current day and age, NWA.
I'm just happy that, because I didn't realize NWA was still around. I honestly thought they fizzled out, because I thought, just naively, I thought they merged with WCW, and then WCW took over them, and then when WCW went under, WWE bought it all.
Right.
So I didn't realize NWA was still actually a brand.
They seem
like they kind of obviously shrunk into what they used to be, but it's good for them. I like to kind of see, different groups kind of performing and having a little bit of a piece of the pie in that industry.
Well, what got me interested back into watching NWA is because there's a couple of guys on there. You're like, oh, he came back, like Damian Sandow, which he kind of left for a little bit, then he came back. But Trevor Murdoch.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was down there.
I didn't realize until the whole Jim Cornette thing came up.
Oh, right.
And I'm just like, Trevor Murdoch's back. What the hell? Because
you know what? That's funny, because I was listening to a bunch of interviews or I shouldn't say, I guess, conversations about that Jim Cornette situation. I didn't even think about who he was referencing when he made the comments. So now that I think about it, I should have caught that on, but I didn't. I just was so invested in everything else surrounding that specific situation. Yeah, but that's good. I mean, I'm happy to kind of see it. Yeah. If it grows, it's great.
If it grows, it's great. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan, to be a casual fan of wrestling. I don't think it'll be yet. For how the Attitude Era was just like, you can go outside and everybody would, like, you can say, oh, hell yeah, and everybody knows it's Austin.
Yeah,
right?
It was like heavy mainstream.
I'd
actually, and sorry to cut you off, I have a quick question, because I even wanted to ask, when they were at their, let's say, peak, 2000, 2001, when it's white hot.
Yeah.
Obviously, the late 90s, 98, 99, but there was, like, I remember especially when WWE launched their whole Monday Night Wars documentary, they were showing the ratings, like, on average of how many people were watching Raw and Nitro at the same time.
Yeah.
And at one point I was seeing, like, 7-point-something million. And I wanted to know how high it has ever been in terms of viewership at one particular episode. Did they ever reach, like, 10 million, you think, around that?
I don't think they ever did. I think it's always been, like... like a 4.5 rating.
They were, yeah,
right?
they were the 4s for a long time. But then when they got to like 2001, really 2002, they were like at least in the 7 to 8s. And then at that point, they had really pulled away. Obviously, because by 2001, they really had pulled away from Nitro and WCW.
Yeah,
but they had really shot up, and that's why. I mean, if they were that, like, if that was that mainstream with that amount of viewership, I can only imagine where it could go if were to take away. But I mean, a lot of people who don't watch it, they did at one point. They're aware of it because of that era. I think that era really put it on the map of that kind of genre. And I feel like sometimes, I don't know, people want to feel like they want to relive that era. And then there's sometimes you get little tastes of it, and then it feels like there's backlash. Like, and I'm only going to stride into like the Omega Moxley fight at Full Gear for AEW's pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago. I thought that was a crazy match in terms of watching, like fun, crazy match. But I didn't realize how much backlash there would be for some of the things they were doing, some of the spots. I didn't expect that. I thought maybe people would say, because I mean, if it's every day they're doing those kind of matches, I can understand
then it's too much.
But if this is like something that's happening once a year,
and
it's for like 2 different guys every single time, or whatever the stipulations are, I don't see what the issue is.
Like, not even if it's once a year. That's why, like stuff like Money in the Bank match, Elimination Chamber, what's another, like Hell in a Cell. I don't think it should be every year, because then it kind of, you lose the allure of the match.
Well,
right?
You're exactly right. The thing was with like WWE, they've done it for their own theme pay-per-views.
Yeah,
like the Hell in a Cells, the Elimination Chambers, like they fall in a specific window of the year.
Yeah,
you kind of know it's coming around.
It's coming around, and you also know it's like, okay, it's not going to be one match. We're going to see at least 3 matches that have this stipulation.
Right.
And it kind of waters it down for me, because if it's like...
waters it down.
Yeah, let's look at Bobby Lashley and Rusev, right? Mm-hmm. If this was back in the day, and, they're having this scuffle and all that, and their final blow-off match is Hell in a Cell, that would have meant more. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, let's just say they're doing it, it's like, oh, they're going to fight in Hell in a Cell, where on the same card, like Charlotte's going to face Lacey Evans in a Hell in a Cell, and it's like, oh... Like, I don't care.
Well, they take the big cell in and out, and I know what you mean, but to me, it's like that match itself has been so watered down, because they don't do nearly as what they have done in the mid 2000s to late 90s to late 2000s with that structure.
Right.
And you're lucky enough if they break out of it, let alone fight for majority in it. Like, no one's going and climbing on the top and taking the spot.
That's just one example, right? Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, I mean, Elimination Chamber 2 was kind of the similar thing. There used to be some really crazy spots in that. Steel cage matches used to be a lot of crazy spots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't mind if they did it once a year and they exercise the full potential of that specific match.
Right.
Like, I mean, not everyone's going to be able to fly off the top of it the way Mick Foley did all those years ago. I get it.
Or Shane McMahon.
100%. But at the same time, it's like, if you can do new things around it to make it, another signature moment. And I've heard a few people in the community say, yeah, WWE doesn't really care anymore to make, those, what's it called? Iconic moments anymore. Like,
right.
Some of those famous moments, like Stone Cold stunning McMahon for the first time, or obviously, like I just said, Mick Foley getting thrown off the top of the cage, or God knows how many different, like the Rock and Sock connection breaking up and then having that fight in the empty arena, like those specific, like unique moments.
Right.
They don't do it anymore. It seems very commercialized and so repetitive that it just feels very stale.
It's a good thing you brought that up. You only saw half of the Austin Taker podcast, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the part where Taker was talking about the moment with Triple H and Shawn Michaels?
You're talking about when they did the 3 of them, that end of the era part?
Yeah,
I did see that part.
Because that wasn't scripted. Taker said it wasn't scripted. No. It was just organically done, right? Yeah. And then I just went, no wonder that's a memorable moment, because it's organically done. And just 100%. Like how you said, like everything's so commercialized now that... Okay, we have to make this look like it's organically done, but it's not.
Yeah, no, you can definitely tell that it's like a worked shoot at one point or another. It's like, it's definitely, like, it is like it's been put in with an agenda. Because the whole reason, they brought up that moment in that specific convo with the Stone Cold and Taker was because, he always asked Taker about how Taker loves to protect the business.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments, if you're fighting someone, you're a heel and, you're babyface, good guy, bad guy, for those who don't know what that means. you don't like necessarily hug or walk together with over arms over each other's shoulders to the back room over the stage, right? You each walk up the ramp, go into the behind the curtains separately, and that was one of those moments at a big show where they just kind of
they did
they finished the whole thing.
Taker even thought that was his last match, but it wasn't.
I honestly, like they said, even with the WrestleMania 30, I thought even that would have been his last one.
Yeah.
And then when he came back the next year to fight Bray Wyatt, and I had a friend of mine, his good friend of mine named Ian De Silva, he told me, well, you can't let Taker go out, without a win at least at WrestleMania. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll take your word for it. But then he was back again. To do it, and so on and so forth. So... yeah, it's just kind of those little things that I noticed that I look for organic things, and I think sometimes, I don't know, but the Omega and Moxley fight, I thought it was great because I haven't seen anything like that, at least not recently, not on a high level,
not on the professional leagues.
Yeah, nothing with a huge production budget that can give you all the camera shots and all the the lighting and everything else. More or less, you're seeing those in like some kind of independent place that they have it sanctioned, but. I don't know. Even then, you're kind of questioning whether or not this should be done because it just seems very bootlegged and very, sketchy.
Right.
That seemed very. I don't know. I like Kenny Omega. I think he's one of the best, guys out there today in the business, and I thought he did a great job along with Moxley, who I think is a great performer, in-ring worker too. But I don't know. You're getting hit with a lot of different opinions based on from people who do the old school, who are hardcore old schooler wrestlers, to recent era wrestlers, to current era wrestlers, to people who want to change the business completely and go in a different direction right now. You got like a bunch of different groups all having opinions about it. I don't know. For me, I'm like, it's something different. I never seen it before. I kind of don't mind seeing blood every once in a while if it's done an appropriate amount. And they did a cool, I heard the spot was because they were doing stuff with barbed wire. And it was basically don't like chip, or they said not to trim the barbed wire because it'll slash you and it'll cut deep. Whereas if you leave it, it'll just poke you and it'll give you the right amount of blood, so that way it doesn't make it look like it's just uncontrollable. It's not like a huge gash,
right?
Which I thought was kind of an interesting thing to hear. I didn't realize there was something so. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't think I'll ever do a barbed wire match myself, but just to hear that's what they had done to prepare for that. Because again, as much as it is like, it's a show and you're watching it live and there's also a live audience, but it's something that I pay attention to just for the film industry too, as a practical effect.
Right.
That they kept in mind, hey, leave the barbed wire the way it is. Because if you cut it to try to make adjustments to make it actually not hurt you, it's actually going to cut you even more because you're cutting off the pieces that normally are just supposed to poke you and get caught. Because it's like metal Velcro, I believe, more or less, right?
Yeah, so, it's like a whole bunch of little metal wires all rolled up into one with the spikes.
You're supposed to get caught in it. You're not supposed to be like completely, I don't know. Some people say you get torn to shreds through barbed wire, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like unless you're using it as a cheese grater.
Yeah.
If you get caught, you're getting poked more than you're getting gashed. So, I kind of didn't mind it. I thought it was a really cool match. And I even like when AEW does their dark matches and they actually show it...
on YouTube?
Yeah, they have launched it the week after it was done because I don't know if they're there for 2 days in each city and they film an hour or of dark matches the day before and then they do the actual live show on the Wednesday. And then
I think it's all done on the same day.
If it is, that's cool. But does that mean that they do 3 hours then? Because it's 2 hours of actual like live and then shows and then one.
Yeah, then I think that's how they do it.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious now to know if it's before or after.
I would say before.
Well, watching the Omega, was it Janela fight?
Yeah.
That one with all the chairs and stuff, that was that was an awesome match. I watched that one. That one was a long match. And if that was before the show, wow. Good for that audience that had all that energy to finish off that AEW's Dynamite show that evening.
Well, that's what hypes them into the main show, right?
Right. Well, hell, that's like, if we're gonna like chirp and say the pre-show, the kickoff show, that's one hell of a kickoff pre-show to a live show. That would have been awesome. I would have loved to have just been there in the crowd to watch that kind of stuff because it was a fun kind of dark match to watch that they had taped and then put out there on YouTube to watch. In terms of the movie industry, though, I was saying a lot of good movies have come out recently and a lot of great movies to come out in the next month to leading into December. The one recent movie that I think that everyone is pretty much going off right now is on Joker. Good for WD or WB, excuse me, for coming out with something really really nice in that kind of aspect of the whole DC universe. I thought that movie was phenomenal. I haven't heard anyone dislike it. I've heard a lot of praise from people who aren't necessarily into comics to people who are. They've enjoyed its take on that kind of whole story.
A lot of people I know, when I bring it up, they're like, "Oh, it's a comic book movie," and I'm like, "No, it's a comic book character." But it's not a comic book movie per se.
Well, that's the same thing too. I would agree with, even with the Dark Knight series that Nolan did. Those 3 films, like I said, it's been noted that it felt like it was, you took a comic book character and then airdropped him into modern today's society.
Yeah,
which was kind of nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to the whole kind of Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is what's gonna happen. This is why I'm not gonna go see it. And it's just like, no, it's completely different.
Yeah, which is nice. It necessarily doesn't and I was trying to talk to people because I felt like at one point I'm like, well, there's got to be Batman connected to this, and if they're gonna, we recently found out they had casted Robert Pattinson to be the new Bruce Wayne / Batman for the new set of whatever movie they decide to do for the Batman. And I thought maybe, this would be kind of cool because Joaquin, I thought, did a great job on his performance. This would be kind of nice to see him again, and if they can, because I just felt like it's yin and yang. If there's Joker, there's Batman, there's Joker kind of stuff. And, I would love to see that somehow worked onto the big screen or collaborated in an appropriate way. For me, I know a lot of people were saying, well, it could be left alone, and I kind of, I guess, respect that. Doesn't all have to necessarily be tied together. Actually, a good friend of mine, Jesse the Animal Anderson, he loved this movie. He actually loved it so much he thought it should be called Arthur.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he loved the movie.
Although there's 2 movies out there that are already just called Arthur.
Yeah, there are. That's the one. Yeah. There's the original and then there's the remake.
Right.
Didn't the original have Eliza Minnelli?
I think so.
She was the maid that was whatever. I don't know, but that's
it's a different story.
Yeah, different story for another time. But I think it was good, and it was kind of cool to see how much more popularity it's been getting, and I think it's close to being the highest grossing DC film.
I think it hit $1 billion.
Yeah,
I think it did.
Something like that I was hearing too, which was kind of cool to hear because I didn't realize, I don't even know what is the highest grossing prior to, was any of those recent Justice League films or the Aquaman films?
No. The highest, I think, Endgame broke the highest.
Well, no, that's for like Marvel films.
Marvel,
I just mean for DC.
For DC, the highest I would assume would have been one of the Nolan. I think it was The Dark Knight.
Something tells me, I don't know if it was The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises that surpassed it. I think Dark Knight Rises surpassed it, something like that. I remember hearing, because Dark Knight still has the, at the time, then it got squashed, but at the time, Dark Knight had that biggest box office weekend.
Yeah.
And then I think, obviously, Harry Potter's Deathly Hallows 2 did that, and then the first Avengers, 2012, shattered that, and it's been building up, but Dark Knight Rises, I think, eventually surpassed Dark Knight in terms of overall budget, but whatever. That's cool, though. I'm glad. I mean, it was a good film. I enjoyed it. I think, I heard some people say that, everyone, they feel like they see a little bit of themselves in the character, for whatever that means, up to their interpretation of, the experiences the character was going through from beginning to the middle to the end of the film.
Right.
Some people critical felt it was too culty at the end, but I don't know. I was ipso facto in terms of whether or not it's really. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those. I don't want to spoil it for anyone too much to talk about. It just kind of came where I don't know. You're seeing the character go through so much stuff, so you're rooting for him at different parts. But then I guess for a moral code and compass, you're like, oh, this is kind of bad. This is kind of bad.
But it makes sense to how he becomes this guy, right? How he becomes the Joker.
Right.
It makes complete sense. I think some people who nitpick at certain little aspects, I nitpick at it because we didn't really need to see the Waynes in it.
No.
I get why
that was
there.
that was something that probably, if anything, I really had to be necessarily critical about the film, was the whole Wayne chapter of that particular thing. I was glad that it didn't turn out to be one part of it that didn't turn out to be the truth or whatever they were saying, that the character was led to believe something about Thomas Wayne.
Right.
But at the same time, too, I was a little I don't know. I just didn't feel comfortable the way they portrayed Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
To me, I always looked, from all the stuff of watching comics, cartoons, and other films and literature, Thomas Wayne to me was that one good quality, wealthy individual who was doing whatever he could to help the city.
Gotham. Yeah.
He's one of those actual guys, like, as opposed to the damn stereotype of like the rich white guy who just doesn't care and is counting his nickels and dimes. Thomas and Martha Wayne were doing what they could to help the city.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was really special. And then again, everyone's got those ugly moments. Every character, every person has an ugly moment, and we can't judge their entire character on that one particular.
Yeah.
So they did show Wayne at his moments doing things that but if for one part, at least when he punches Arthur in the face there in that one scene, I was telling people, I'm like, well, if some random creep, from my point of view, a random creep comes to my front gate and is touching my son's face and putting, I probably want to hit him in the face too, because who the hell are you?
Yeah.
What are you? And then he obviously assaulted the Alfred there, the young Alfred. Something.
Right.
Yeah, from that point of view, I'd probably hit the guy too.
Right.
But obviously the camera only follows Arthur the whole story, so Arthur's been getting his ass kicked from kids stealing his street sign to like other people jumping him, stuff on subways getting harassed, so it's just another layer of getting assaulted, so we're just thinking, it's another jerk assaulting him from, the naive looking part of it. That was the only thing that kind of bugged me. I wish they perceived Thomas Wayne a little bit more, that white knight that was what Bruce Wayne remembers from until his father and his mother
passes,
yeah. But otherwise, no, great film.
Yeah.
I hope they do another great job. If there is rumor that they are working on a sequel, I hope it's done well and it's not rushed and they do it in an appropriate way, because I thought this was done really well. And it was nice to see people weren't critical about this, because I thought we were never going to see a Joker after Heath Ledger.
Right.
Even though there was the
Suicide Squad,
the Suicide Squad one. I honestly thought even for the Suicide Squad one, like, Jared Leto got the short end of the stick, because whatever the studio decided to do a trailer, they threw him all in it, and he's not
in it one bit. Well, a little bit.
Yeah, and they cut out a lot of his stuff. So to me, I feel like, well, it's like, I don't know, it's whoever is in charge of editing, mixture, the studio, and who made that decision to kind of have that cut released and whatever they worked on it. So to me, I always felt kind of, well, that's not fair. And not to mention, it was a different take. I think they wanted to go in a different direction. You can't, they didn't want to copy too much of what Heath did for the Dark Knight film.
Right.
So I figured they wanted to do something a little bit different, just to have a different take on it, which was nice. So, it's good. I'm glad that, we're starting to, evolve, and we can start to see a new actor portray the character and expand on it. So that's my take on it. I think it was a great film.
Yeah. Definitely good. The one movie I've been hearing, actually there's two movies that are good, is The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't see that. I'm told I should go see it, but that's more like the artsy kind of film to go see. And then Jojo Rabbit. With
that one.
Waikiki there. I can't pronounce his name.
Huh.
But the one
cool.
where...
This is my cool. I'm
yeah.
Cool. Or whatever he says.
Yeah, or the one where they're in Germany at the end of World War II, and the little boy has, the imaginary friend of Hitler. It's supposed to be a good one, too.
I'd actually be intrigued to watch that. I've been seeing a few clips of it from time to time. But Lighthouse I did watch, and the Lighthouse was pretty cool. Just because, they did, the old school, you're watching the trailers, and normally sometimes movies, they drop the top and the bottom, they go into widescreen, and they creep into it. This time it went from the vertical sides.
Right.
It came close, and then you're just watching it, very thin on this big screen, though. I don't know. I forgot the frame rate or the size. I should say.
It's like the old school box.
Oh yeah. They did that particular for that reason. It's a good movie. It depends on what you're feeling like to go watch it. I watched it. I didn't mind it. I was trying to pay attention to so much different details of what they were doing. So I'm always interested when films are done in black white sequences, or they have a little. But this whole film is done in black and white. I don't have anything critical to say other than it was really fun to watch. Kind of little by little, it's suspenseful. It has suspenseful moments. It kind of creeps in on you that you're not really sure what's going on at certain points. You don't know what's reality and what isn't at one way or another. But I thought it was going in. William Dafoe's characters, the accent he was going with, was kind of making me laugh, just for my own kick, because I always like to do parodies of Robert Shaw's Quint from Jaws, and he had that kind of similar fisherman accent lingo going.
Right.
So to me, even though there were some serious moments, I'd always have a little smirk on my side because I'm like, I like the way he did portray that character. And even Robert Pattinson, the way he was doing it, his own, I thought he did a good job too, at least for maintaining his accent. I was really trying to hear it, and then just watching some of his speeches and mannerisms, I didn't think it was that bad. To the way he portrayed it, but I mean, I didn't know what to expect for the characters. I didn't really know what the backstory was. I kind of only had seen a trailer for it, and I said, okay, I'll watch it. And I think if you get a chance, definitely check it out. It doesn't hurt.
All right.
Yeah. Other movies that I'm probably more or less excited for going into next month would probably be 1917. Sam Mendes is 1917. It's going to be the First World War movie there. That one looks incredible. I think it's like a lot of it is one continuous shot for majority of the film. I think it's like a 90-minute film.
Right.
And it's like two soldiers. They have to go and warn about 1,600 troops of not going to charge. I don't know if it's a hill or just make an attack, because if they do, they're going to be ambushed. The enemy already knows they're coming.
Right.
So they can't get a distress signal or they can't get the word to this battalion, because whatever the line of communication got cut off. So they have to send two men to go and deliver the message either verbally or by letter. I can't remember, but it looks awesome just from watching some of the trailers for it and like even behind the scenes shots. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Sam Mendes did Skyfall. He did Spectre for the James Bond films.
Right.
So yeah, it looks really cool so far. I'm really excited. And I think that comes out on Christmas Day, if I'm not mistaken, around that time. But it looks awesome. I'm really excited for that. It looks more intriguing to me than it does Dunkirk. Like, Dunkirk looked awesome because it was filmed in IMAX and it's a Nolan film. But this movie looks really, really cool. 1917.
The only future movies that I've been keeping an eye out comes out in July 2020.
What movie would that be?
Ghostbusters.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see. Yeah, that would look pretty cool.
So hopefully they do it right this time.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be nice to see. I think probably when we get a little bit more closer to that time, we'll start to get even a little bit more and more information.
I think possibly around April we'll get a trailer.
I haven't heard anything other than that Bill Murray's going to be in that, right?
The originals are going to be in it. The original 3, because Harold Ramis died. Mm-hmm. But I know they're going to make mention. There was a leak. I think Dan Aykroyd said it. They're going to make mention of Harold Ramis, Egon Spengler in the film.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure if like Rick Moranis or Sigourney Weaver or Annie Potts are going to come back to do cameos, but yeah.
That'd be nice if they did.
It'd be nice that they did it for like the 2016 version, but they weren't their original characters. Where they said they're going to be the original characters in this.
What do you mean they weren't the original? Because I didn't watch.
So 2016, Dan Aykroyd was like some taxi driver.
Oh, he just made an appearance.
And
like
they just made an appearance.
Do they do it like? Wait, do they do it like how a lot of the Marvel movies did Stan Lee, like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, where it's just like a random character. Like Ernie Hudson was one of the girl's uncles.
Oh man.
Who else was there? Bill Murray played a skeptic, who he wasn't playing Peter Venkman, but this one I think they're playing like Venkman, Stantz, and Zedmore.
Well, rightly so. Yeah. I think so. If they're going to do it to kind of make mention of all the original cast, and they're trying to bring them back for whatever this last chapter, then I definitely understand the excitement, and it would make perfect sense to do that. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, that would be cool. I'm kind of intrigued because I recently watched the Ghostbusters. I always kind of have. I'm more familiar with the second one more so than
the first one.
The first one, no, I've seen the first one enough to know it, but for some reason on television itself, I always seem to come across number 2 more.
Right.
At least in recent years, so I'm always just seeing that, and I always kind of laugh at it because what's his name? Is in the second one. He gets hypnotized by the painting.
Janosch? Well, that's the character's name.
Yeah. But he always made me laugh. And then again, I loved the movie he was in, Dracula, Dead and Loving. He made me laugh in that.
He was also in Mr. Bean, the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why it makes me laugh that I get to see that part. Good. So it'd be kind of cool though. That'd be a fun movie to look forward to.
Yeah.
I don't know any other movies in December I'm trying to think of that are really I'm intrigued for. Apart from obviously like the Rise of Skywalker stuff,
right?
Which for all of you those who are listening, we will be doing a Star Wars podcast regarding the Rise of Skywalker and everything Disney has been doing, along with Disney Plus. Which, actually, we should have mentioned that Disney Plus has launched, and The Mandalorian did come out as their first original content series.
And the biggest thing everyone is complaining about is you can see his wrist.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Why?
There's this one screenshot.
You can see some skin?
You can see some skin. There's this one screenshot. I think he's either looking through binoculars or he's holding a gun. And you see on his left hand just his wrist.
And what, that was a botched moment
of
shooting?
People are pissed.
But Mandalorians are humanoids. I mean, majority of them are humanoids.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think people are just doing that as a joke. I'm not entirely sure. I just saw the picture and somebody went, ruined.
I heard a bunch of stuff about them, like, because the Baby Yoda's taken the landscape.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's the species. It's not the actual Baby Yoda. Because this takes place right after, I believe, Episode 6. Return of the Jedi. This is when this series takes place, right after the fall of the Empire. So you're basically dealing with like remnants of that and whatnot. So I don't know, but I kind of want to wait before I watch it all. Like, I'm one of those people, I love to binge watch,
everything.
and I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. And
I would kill myself because I've been hearing a lot of good things about The Mandalorian, and I would want to watch it maybe like consecutively because I just know I probably get hooked. It looks really cool. Jon Favreau, I think, has done a really good job, and the cinematography from like just a lot of the promos I've seen from it looks awesome, and I love the practical parts of it. And people have saying this feels very like original Star Wars. This just feels very organic Star Wars. Which to me, if that's the feeling, that's the same feeling I got when I watched Rogue One that came out in 2016. I thought that was really well done. So if it's got anywhere close to that kind of imaginary vibes and style of shooting, then it's going to be a great fun watch. I really don't know too much of the storyline right now, and I'm kind of keeping myself away from it. Other than when it takes place, that's all I know. But it looks cool, and I don't know. I guess Disney Plus will probably be definitely coming out with a lot of more original content.
Oh, definitely.
Well, there's a lot of reboots coming in, too, from a lot of previous shows, like Lizzie McGuire. I heard That's So Raven's coming back again.
Yeah.
And who else is doing... I don't know who else they might be doing. $50 is they'll come out with Hannah Montana, where she is now.
Oh, for sure. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be, like, spin-off upon spin-off upon spin-off of characters.
Yeah. Well, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, one of the twins is doing Riverdale right now, so I don't know if they'll bring those guys back, but I do know, because what's his name there is playing Jughead on the Riverdale Netflix series, and that's all I know for those series. They could do Wizards of Waverly Place, but I'd have to ask my sister. She used to know a lot more, watch a lot more of those shows. I just happened to be in the room when she was watching them. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, and obviously Disney Plus is making a bang for the buck because anything they own is going to be on there. Anything they've taken from Fox and anything else they've in basically inhaled into their new corporate gene pool, then it's
going to be on. The only thing is are they doing that to get people to buy subscriptions now, and then eventually they'll like remove some stuff?
No, it'll whatever.
Or you think it'll still be up there the entire time?
No, because it's not like I don't believe it's like whatever Disney has right now, unless they've already done what Netflix has done and paid people who are the studios that used to have these films and TV shows to get onto their streaming service.
Right.
For Disney Plus, I believe whatever they have right now perfectly in sync is all their stuff, all their studio content for sure is on there, will always be on there.
Right.
Anything they own in their library. As far as shows that are done by NBC, and whatnot, I can't speak for that. I don't know if they have them on there, but those shows would come in and out of the streaming service. That's all I can say for that specific area.
Right.
My only concern is probably most likely if they do anything like, I can't see it. But I mean, they have a huge library, man. Like Fox is huge. I don't know if it comes down to any of the FX shows, if they're going to bring any of those, like those shows like Atlanta, Fargo, Snowfall. What else is there? There's a bunch. True Detective's HBO.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of like in that genre of those kind of series.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, they wanted it to be The Mandalorian because they had been working on it for a good year to be there ready to go for launch for Disney Plus. So, yeah, nevertheless, that's all I'm thinking right now for that kind of stuff. I don't know. But what else do we got?
There's a whole bunch.
just for Disney Plus, I mean, like, in terms of, like, their streaming service, like, again, like, because now NBC's coming out with their own, but I don't know when that launches. That's why they're taking The Office and Friends off of Netflix.
Yeah. There's so many coming out, it's just ridiculous.
I saw the pool, and that didn't even include it, because they gave a whole list of, because Hulu is going to have anything that's, like, very adult content oriented. That Disney owns is going to be on Hulu.
Yeah.
I don't know if like Deadpool and those kind of things are going to be on Disney Plus or if they're going to be put to Hulu instead. That's all I'm wondering.
I don't know.
All the Star Wars and Avenger movies would be on Disney Plus,
right?
Because they're I think anything that's PG-13 will still probably be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Anything that's R-rated will be on Hulu.
Right.
From what I heard, which means that you have to pay like an extra premium, because I saw there was a premium package if you paid for. You got Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. It was like a whole package deal.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like for $12.99, but I think that's American. I don't know what they're offering up in Canada, and I heard Disney Plus isn't even available in the UK for a full another year.
For another year, yeah. Yeah.
But that comes down with it, maybe. I don't know. That's what Disney Plus. So, yeah, just to keep you guys posted, we will be doing it shortly with the next 2 weeks, a Star Wars podcast regarding what our predictions are for the Rise of Skywalker, where we've envisioned Disney's vision with Star Wars so far. We'll be
and that's going to be filled with not just us, but a bunch of other guests on there.
We're having a few other guests. We'll have so far confirmed. We have Kat, who has been on here before, Kat, our makeup artist. She's a big Star Wars fan, and she asked, well, I think it was the day we had her on, she asked to be...
she wanted to be on it.
Yeah, she definitely started to make note to bring me on for that one. We'll have a good friend of mine, Tommy Amoroso, and hopefully we can't confirm or deny if we'll have David... oh my God, I'm going to...
Mortimer?
Yeah. We'll have David. Normally we call him David Stunts
Stunts
because we have so many different Davids working with us at AEF, so we try to, base it off of that. But yeah, David Stunts is definitely intrigued. Actually, we got to see David Stunts this past weekend.
Well, we can leave it off on this one for this episode.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we'll do the next episode, what we've been up to.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, in that case then, we want to thank you all for listening us to here on the AEF podcast. I am your co-host, Rob Star.
And I am Frankie D, the Holy Grail.
Holy Grail himself. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. Please feel free to subscribe, give us a like. We want to hear your comments and questions about anything you want us to cover, talk about in the near future. Thank you guys so much for your support, and it's always great to have you guys listen to us. Take care.